everyone, welcome to Facebook Live. This week we're still discussing my Paragon model for human performance life and organizational breakthroughs. And in the model, as you saw on the invitation, there's your intrinsic relationship between your motivation, inspiration, which is at the top of the pyramid up here. Then the next section here, we have attitude. So we will focus on attitude in this session. Attitude, what does that bring to mind? Does it bring a positive image, a positive thought, a negative thought, or a negative image? I have seen this over the years and years, when someone is succeeding, or especially if they're not performing to what someone thinks they can do, or what they themselves can do, or just as an explanation without even looking into it. They have attitude, whether it's a positive attitude or it's a negative attitude. And I think that's really sad, because what that shows me, in a lot of times, and sometimes it may very well be that, but a lot of times from my research, it's really not attitude. And I'll go ahead and mention this now, but I can mention this more later. And it's not behavior. Those two items, those two, usually are not the reason for a positive effect or success or an achievement or an accomplishment, or for a negative effect. And here's the reason why. Yes, is attitude important? Of course it is. Positive attitude? Of course it is. Is behavior important? Yes, of course it is. However, what's really important is understanding. If you're a boss, a supervisor, team leader, an employee, you yourself in your own leadership in your life, in your work, and whatever you do, understanding what controls your attitude and what controls your behavior. Now that is the key. That is the key. And my research shows what controls attitude is what we talked about in the last session. And that is your intrinsic relationship between your motivation and inspiration. Another way to look at that is, what is your focused best vision? Anything you do, if you ask yourself before you do it, what is your focused best vision for that specific occurrence, event, whatever it may be? You could be working on a project, you could be preparing to meet with a client, you could be doing a myriad number of things. You could be preparing to compete in an athletic event. You could be going to the movies with friends. It doesn't matter. Going out to dinner, going to lunch, it doesn't matter. But if you were to silently ask yourself, what is your focused best vision for that one specific event? And every time you have an event, if you ask yourself that one question every time at each event or each occurrence or each time it's happening, okay, before you start something new, or when you break something up, before you start that new section, that new segment, that new milestone, that new goal, whatever it may be, ask yourself that question. What that will do is that will immediately put you in a positive attitude or a positive frame of mind. right? And sure, you will want to have some spectacular accomplishment because your focus, best vision, you obviously want something that's a little greater or much greater. However, and your attitude may tug at you. Don't let it tug at you. Just realize you're making progress. You might not get there at this one specific event or occurrence, but this is what you're working on so that you can get to that, or that focused best vision can come to you instead of you chasing it. And so I already mentioned that there's only two types of attitude. There's a positive attitude and a negative attitude. You know where I learned this? I learned this from Keith Harrell. He was a motivational, inspirational speaker in the National Speakers Association, a peer of mine. He passed away. I wish that didn't happen. But Keith would go around throughout the world, corporations, everywhere, all types of organizations, Hall of Fame speaker. And he'd talk about the difference between a positive attitude and a negative attitude. And he'd give you a lot of examples. And so obviously it's an essential component. What I'm saying is if you weren't fortunate enough to hear Keith Harrell and learn from him, well, learn from me that the way you control your attitude is by understanding or knowing what's your intrinsic relationship between your motivation and inspiration. That controls your attitude. Okay, that's it. Nothing else. And you can ask the question to help and make it work each time that you're wanting to accomplish something. What is your focus, best vision? You get that and you incantate it. That means you feel it inside. You feel the words. You see the mental images, the thoughts, the feeling, the emotion, the intensity, whatever it is that you need to do to get in the zone. And that'll put you in that positive attitude. That'll stop you from saying, well, I don't have this, or I don't have that, or he's got this skill that I don't have, or she has this skill that I don't have, and all that. No, stop all that. I just want to know, what is your focus, best vision for what it is that you're trying to accomplish. Once you have that, you'll automatically have a positive attitude. And so attitude for a long, long time has been dumped on and dumped on and dumped on. And what I don't like is when it's dumped on, and very rarely is it used correctly as far as it's the cause. Very rarely. And the challenge is simply because you don't have the tool, which I am teaching you, or you're learning the tool from me, or at least one tool. I'm not saying I have all the tools, but at least one tool. So apply the learning. That is how you control your attitude, to have a positive attitude. And so what I don't like is when I see someone, and I've seen this in all types of environments. I've seen people who are trying to recover from cancer, or who are striving to recover from cancer, or recovering from any type of illness. I've seen people at work who obviously like their job, want their job, and you'll hear people say things of this nature that, and even like athletes and stuff, you'll hear other people say, whether it's whoever it may be. And I think it actually hurts the person versus helping them. And they'll say, someone will say, it's attitude. It's all about attitude. This person is sick. It's going to take a lot more than attitude or positive attitude to get them to recover. That's the reason we have doctors and specialists and professionals, and me, for example, as a mental performance and life consultant and coach and organizational performance. And we have all of these professions, all these expertise, so that we can help and work with people to get them better. So think about that next time you use the word attitude. Are you really using it in the right context and at the right time and appropriately? Or are you using it so that you don't need to look any further? None at all. Couldn't have been your fault, or at least you couldn't have been the influence of the detrimental outcome. Couldn't have been someone else's fault, or not fault, but an influence of the detrimental outcome. No, of course not. Couldn't be that. So many people want to dump it on attitude. Stop it. It just might be that that person didn't receive the right instruction from someone. Could be you, from somebody else. It even could be from themselves. It's one of the reasons people watch my videos, so they can learn and they can apply the tools and concepts. And most of the time you'll see that it's not really their attitude. It's their way of reaching out to you as a human being. Okay, when they do great things, a spiritual being, when they do great things or successful things or things you like, for you to give them more credit than saying, I like your attitude, or you're not getting it because of your attitude. Either way, what they're saying is, one, if they're successful, that I want you to recognize me, or I want you to, at least pay me a compliment or tell me that I can go further, or something that's fun and exciting for me, that's incentivizing for me, something to just cherish this moment together, this creation of joy and excitement, right? You're happy for them, or they're happy for themselves, or whatever it may be, or both of you are happy, pleased. Or it could be their way of saying, without asking, that they need help. They need someone to work with them. And they just don't know how to ask. And if you could be the better person, grow as a person, and be able to recognize what's happening there. Now, a lot of times people are too hard on themselves, or if they're not, someone else is too hard on them by just dumping it all on attitude. Well, don't. Just understand and help them with the right tool. And so the main tool today is what controls your attitude, your intrinsic relationship between your motivation and inspiration. So ask one question to help them, to help yourself, or to help someone, or to work. What helps them works? This one question. What is your focused best vision? You could ask that of someone that reports to you. You could ask that of yourself before you go about achieving what you want to achieve. Now, you can teach this tool to someone else. Tell them where you got it from. That's the point of my videos are multiple, but the biggest is for it to help and work for someone so that they can get to the next level of success, enjoyment, fun, accomplishment, achievements, whatever it may be. That's really what I want to do. That's what drives me, is being able to be a small part of someone's achievement, of someone's forward human performance, life, organizational breakthroughs. So I want you to keep this tip in mind. And so the next time, don't just jump to the answer of it's all about attitude. No, it's a lot more than that. Yes, attitude, a positive attitude is important, but know what tools to use in order to initiate a positive attitude. You do that, and you'll be that much further ahead of other people. So remember, what is your focused best vision? I hope you have a meaningful trigger for this evening. I do. I'll be reffing again this evening. I'm looking forward to it. Be pretty fun. I act like it's a World Cup championship game. I know it's not, but the guys out there are very competitive, and I've learned what the new rules are. The rules are a little different than when I play. There's hardly any contact that's good anymore, which is good because it makes them play a clean game. So that's nice. And I like that, actually. And so we'll have a lot of fun, and it's great exercise for me. So I'm looking forward to that. If something in here resonates with you, you have a situation where you just can't seem to get past someone's perceived attitude, whether it's positive or negative, or if you just don't know what to do and that's why you're just dumping it on attitude, contact me. We can talk about it. We can discuss it and determine the best next steps. I have a variety of programs. It comes in all types of forms, very highly customized, and they can always be dwindled down to being individually customized, working directly with individuals. So that's what I have for you today. I hope you have a meaningful trigger tonight. And at 4 p.m. today, I'll be talking about attitude as it pertains to experiencing innovation and entrepreneurial leadership.